and welcome to our video showcasing the Apparel, Retail Merchandising, and Design program here at North Dakota State University. I'm Lauren.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Erin.
All of us are Apparel, Retail Merchandising, and Design students with a focus in apparel studies.
We also each have our own minors. Mine is Strategic Communication.
I'm Business Administration.
And I'm Entrepreneurship.
Each of our minors gives us a specific expertise within the apparel industry.
Today we'll be bringing you around campus to show you what life is like as a student in our program here at NDSU.
First, we are taking you into the Family Life Center, which is the home of our department and holds a lot of our classes. Let's head up to the 4th floor. This is one of the most used classrooms in our major. It's also connected to the textiles lab, where we study different types of textiles and do experiments on them. Some classes we have in this room are textiles lab, intro to aesthetics, and also product development. As you can see, it's not a very big classroom. None of our classes are very big, and this allows us for a great one-on-one professor-student experience. This past year, NDSU equipped classrooms with advanced technology called HiFlex to provide students and teachers with a better learning experience both in and out of the classroom. This includes things like speakers, cameras, and microphones. Now we're going to head into the textiles research area. This is the textiles lab, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of my favorite experiments that we do in our textiles lab class. So this is the croc meter, and this is used to measure the color fastness of a textile. If you come up closer, you can see what it's doing to the fabric here. So eventually you'll be able to tell whether or not the dye on the fabric comes off. Okay, this is another one of my favorite experiments that we do in textiles lab. This is used to see how each fiber will react to heat. And so as you can see here, there's a flame, and we're just gonna slowly see how this fiber reacts to being burned. Okay, as you can see, this textile almost completely charred, and from this we can tell that it is cotton. This is a swatch book that we use in textiles lab. We use this to identify different characteristics of each type of fabric. And as you can see, there's a lot of different types in here. It keeps going. We use this to identify different types of fabric and everything about them, and so we write it all down. We can also use a microscope to identify fibers. This is what cotton looks like under a microscope. Now you're gonna go across the hall to talk to Anna about the sewing lab.
Welcome to the sewing lab. This is the sewing lab where students in the product development focus take 3 courses. They're beginning apparel construction and fit, and apparel design and assembly. This shirt and this dress are some of the exact projects that you do in beginning construction, and then the dress and the pants are examples of some things you can do in the 2nd sewing class. And then in the 3rd class, you'll do some more pattern making and draping on the mannequin. This is a typical machine in our sewing lab, which we use for all of our projects. We also have a lock stitch machine and a cover stitch machine that students can use to finish their projects. Students in the sewing courses are able to showcase their projects at the end of the year in the Fabo Fashion Show to show all our projects, as well as just highlight our major to the community.
We are now down the hall from the Textiles and Sewing Lab at the Emily P. Reynolds Historic Costume Collection. This is one of my favorite things about our department. We have this historic costume collection that showcases pieces not only from our region, but from all over the globe, from the 1850s until today. And a lot of our professors use these pieces in our classes as examples of different things and how they've been made throughout time. As a research institution, NDSU and our department has all pieces like this available for researchers to look at while they're documenting different projects that they're working on. Each of these pieces is given an ID number along with doing extensive research on their background in order to document them, and then all of the information is kept in a database that anyone can use. We store all of the pieces in these state-of-the-art rolling cabinets so that we can fit everything in one room and have different rows of pieces. So here's the next row. This piece was created by an alumni of our department in the mid-1950s who had incredible construction and amazing attention to detail. This gorgeous corset was created by a woman in 1844. We are not sure who the woman is, but she did hand embroider her initials and the date as she made it. And everything on here she hand embroidered on a piece that was only going to be seen by her. No one else was going to see it, which is a great example of how women have created clothing just for themselves throughout history. This is an example of one of our global pieces. This is a robe from China, and it was worn by members of the court, which we can tell by these 5 toes that the dragon has. Only members of the court were allowed to wear robes that had the 5 toes, and everything on here is hand embroidered. A great aspect of our costume collection is that we're able to document fashion from our region, which is really, really cool. So we have a lot of pieces from Margaret Steiner, who was a local milliner for a very long time. This is a piece that she was commissioned to do. It's obviously a hat that was created to go with this gorgeous coat back here. And then we also have this gorgeous piece of equipment that she used in her shop, which is a hat steamer. Students can get involved with the historic costume collection by coming in to do research for different projects, or by completing internships, by learning how museums store and document and authenticate different pieces. Now we're on the 3rd level, where you can find offices for our department, and down the hallway there are posters created by students showcasing the internships they completed over the summer semester. Let's go talk to Anna in the computer lab.
This is the computer lab where we have our Apparel technology class and where we learn Photoshop and Illustrator to design tech packs, mood boards, and flats. Students also have access to Microsoft Suite so they can learn how to work with Excel for buying, sales, data, and analysis.
We wanted to tell you about FABO, which stands for Fashion Apparel Business Organization and is the student organization for our major. We do everything from listening to industry guest speakers to running a fashion show for the public every spring. FABO teaches us how to use what we learn in the classroom and lets us network with industry professionals.
We brought you here to the NDSU bookstore to showcase our official NDSU tartan collection. This was created in 2011 by a student in our department, and all of the royalties from the sales go to fund student scholarships and faculty research. The most recent addition to our collection is the 100% NDSU wool blanket back here that features the amazing tartan design and was created in Faribault, Minnesota. The Apparel Retail Merchandising and Design program offers students a lot of benefits. Here's some of the reasons why we chose to come to NDSU to become a Bison.
I decided to come to NDSU because I was really interested in how tight-knit the students and faculty of the Apparel program were, and I also love the size of campus, and I was really excited about being in marching band.
When I visited NDSU, I really loved the energy and the excitement of all the students that were walking around on campus while I was here. And I also really enjoyed that the apparel program focused a lot on the business side of the industry instead of just design, so that you could get a really well-rounded experience of what it's like to work in fashion.
I came to NDSU because I liked how close campus was to home, and I always knew that I wanted to study fashion and apparel.
Thanks for joining us!